Hi, my name is Peter here. In this short video today, I'm going to share with you something that came to me as an absolute revelation, and I'm sure it's going to be exactly the same to you. For me, really, it's the missing piece of the jigsaw puzzle for to have and be guaranteed success. It really is. And really quite timely, because as we step into this new year with dreams and hopes and aspirations all in front of us, I think this is going to be an absolutely perfectly timed video for to help you to take full advantage of the year that lies ahead. So it's 2013, and it's that time again, is it not, when everyone sets their resolutions, their goals, their aspirations. And interestingly enough, you know, there tends to be a typical top 10, I guess, of what people usually set. And some of them, of course, are, you know, I need to have more quality time with the family, I need to get a new career, I need to earn more money, I need to clear off debts, etc., etc. And that really lends itself absolutely perfectly to what it is that we have available with this fantastic Kleeneze opportunity. What's interesting though, just looking at some statistics, which typically, I guess, signifies why people never go on to achieve the success that they set themselves at the beginning of the year. And I wonder why that is really, but it's typically because people set them out of routine and not out of desire and out of passion. But did you know that 25% of people quit on a goal or a resolution within just 1 week of setting it? And I think that's absolutely staggering. And after just 2 weeks, we're up to 29%. After just 1 month, 35% of people have completely quit on the idea altogether now. And within 6 months, 54% of people, it is an absolute distant memory of what they set themselves at the beginning of the year. And you know what? There's a reason why that happens. And that's because, I guess, you know, people would like things to be different, but they're not prepared to find out exactly what it is that they need to do to make sure that they can guarantee the end result. Now, when we talk about goal setting, it's quite interesting because I can relate to this myself, and I'm sure you can too. But all of a sudden, someone says, right, we're going to do a talk on goal setting, and you pick up your pen and you open your pad and you just turn your brain off. Oh no, not goal setting. Well guys, if you think about this, where you are now and where you want to be and whatever it is that you want to achieve, realistically, how are you going to get there? Well guys, first and foremostly, if your immediate knee-jerk response to that was just to work hard, let me tell you, it's absolutely not enough. We have to work hard anyway. My granddad worked hard all his life and still retired potless and broke. So you've got to work hard anyway, but more importantly, you've got to work hard on the right things. Let me just say that again. Work hard on the right things. What we really need is what we call a 1-3-5 Olympian strategy. Now, 1-3-5, unfortunately, I can't take the credit for this. It came from a guy called Pete Wilkinson. And when I saw this, I thought, wow, this is the missing piece of the jigsaw. Let me just set the scene. Tom Daley, medalist, okay, Olympian, fantastically successful. If you think about what he set out to achieve, first and foremostly, did he approach that and just turn up and hope for the best? Do you think he perhaps had a strategy? What about, do you think he worked really hard and trained every single day, but he was expecting to lose? Do you think he ever had to stretch himself, go the extra yard? Do you think he ever got tired, frustrated, ever felt that he was challenged? Do you think that he approached the task to get into the medals because he was involved, or perhaps because he was committed? Well, absolutely right, because he was committed. And when I saw this 1-3-5 for the very first time, I thought, that's the missing piece. It really is, because it's goal setting on a complete new level. Let me firstly tell you what the 1 is. The 1 is your, I guess, your clarity of purpose, your goal, what it is that you want. And here comes the revelation. The 3 are the core objectives. Now, just press pause for a moment. Let's say Tom Daly wants to win a medal. The only way he's going to do that, there are some required elements, are there not, in the diving technique. For example, he will lose points if he doesn't get his tuck just right. He'll lose points if he doesn't enter the water perfectly straight. Yet his goal, his number one, is to get into the medals. So there are some required elements, the tuck, the entrance into the water, perhaps some other aspects. I'm no specialist on what's required to be a diving champion. But there are some required elements. I guess we could call those elements the things that could hold us back from achieving the number one, from achieving the goal, the things that could hold us back. So there are some required elements. Now, in order for Tom to be able to achieve the required element, there's going to be some calls to action required from him, perhaps on a daily basis. Perhaps he needs to do a certain type of stretching exercises, which means that he's more supple to be able to go into the tuck very easily. Maybe he needs to do a particular exercise on a trampoline so that when he bounces, he remains perfectly straight and upright. Okay, so there are some calls to action for him to achieve the core objectives in order to achieve the goal. You see, I believe that the core objectives change absolutely everything. Because if you think about it from a Kleeneze perspective, firstly, you have a goal. So those core objectives can really be a very positive way at looking at the areas that you need to improve upon or to get better at, or you think it could hold you back from achieving that goal. So I think for once and for all, we can now look very positively on areas that we need to improve, because they become the required element in order to achieve the goal. So what I think we should all do is we should get a bit of paper and we should write down what our goal is, which is our number one. We should look at ourselves and see what it is that we feel that we need to put in place in order to achieve the goal. And then we should think very, very carefully about the calls to action per core objective. Now let me just give you a little bit of an example here, okay? Let's just say you do want to get to gold. And let's just say that you recognize that your core objectives are, for example, one of them may be to get better at support. Well, you know how important support is. So maybe you then recognize that your 5 calls to action could be perhaps read Skill with People by Les Giblin. It's a fantastic book. It's all about how to develop the necessary skills to communicate with people, to help to bring out the best in people. It may be that you need to simply familiarize yourselves with your team resources, because we know that support, can come from other areas other than just yourself. What about a weekly coaching call on Skype where you would ask your sponsor, how would you approach this? What would you do about, I have a team member who is experiencing these problems. What would you say? How would you say it? Okay. It could also be to let your sponsor listen in on your support telephone calls to your team member. That's simply where you and your sponsor are connected through Skype. They sit quietly, you pick up the telephone, you're doing your support call direct with your team member, but your sponsor can hear everything that you are saying. The purpose being that the call is what it is, but then you can have a conversation afterwards with your sponsor about, that was fantastic, you did superb, or I would have added this, that would have made a difference, etc., etc., okay, because we learn through practice. So another core objective might be that you need to recruit more people, okay? Because in order to grow our teams, we need to share the opportunity with as many people as we possibly can. So perhaps we've got a very clear and concise core objective, which is now that you need to recruit more people. But what are the 5 calls to action required to you achieve that core objective? Well, it could be that you need to increase your advertising spend, okay? Because you need to be guaranteed that you're going to receive more leads. Maybe you need to send out more broadcasts to your contact manager. Maybe it's to once a week, or maybe it's twice a week. Maybe you just need to get back to some basics on lead generation. Go back to your warm market. Speak to some people who you already know. It's a fantastic opportunity you have with Kleeneze. It's changed so much over the years. Maybe it's time to reapproach those people, okay? Maybe it's time to step down into your team and Try and encourage some people and find out who might be interested in stepping up. So that suddenly there's not just you looking for people, there are other people looking for people. Okay, guys, so what we've clearly done here is we've identified 5 specifics that will help you to achieve the core objective, which is to recruit more people. Let's look at the 3rd core objective. That could be that you just need to be more effective with your time. Who could honestly put a hand up and say they are fantastic at time management? Well, I'm guilty of that one too. But if you realise that you need to get as much work into the system as possible and you're working on a tight time schedule, you know exactly what you want to achieve and by when, could be for one of the conferences, then you need to be effective with your time. So let's look at what perhaps those 5 core objectives could be. Number 1, start using the weekly tracker. Okay, you know you should, and maybe you're not, but now it's time to get very, very concise with that, okay? Prioritize things, you know. Is it necessary? Do you need to do that? Should something else be done? Is it more important? How effective is your use of time? Maybe make your to-do list before you go to bed. I strongly recommend that, so you've got a clarity the next morning, you get more done. Get up earlier. I can set my alarm clock a little bit earlier, get an extra hour's work done. Some of the secondary things that I know would probably get done during the day when my day could be better used for more productive activities for building my business. Okay. Another one might be, group calls. You've maybe got 3, 4, 5 new team members who've all been in just a matter of weeks. So, you could maybe do a group Skype call where you share the information once, but 4 or 5 people are all benefiting. There's always things that you can do to get more organised in that regard. So, a very, very quick recap. We've got a clarity of purpose, which is to get to gold. Okay, we've got 3 core objectives, which are effectively the areas that you need to get better at. That you need to put in place, because if you don't, you'll not achieve your goal. Okay, so we've identified those 3 core objectives, and now we have our 5 specific calls to action per core objective. One thing to remember, some of these 5 calls to action will just be things that you need to do once. Perhaps read the book, Les Giblin, Skill with People. But then there may well be some things that you need to do, each day. So be very mindful of specifics. For example, if you want to generate more leads, how many leads? Do you need 100 extra leads? Do you need 200 extra leads? It's really, really important to put the meat on the bones as and where required. So let's just look at an acronym really of the word success, because by putting into place your 135, it will absolutely guarantee success. So let's just look at an acronym of that. Firstly, S, soul search. Be honest with yourself. Where are your weaknesses that could hold you back? I've got weaknesses. I have no problem in recognizing where my weaknesses are, because I know they hold me back. So you can be honest with yourself, okay, because you need that in order to establish your 3 core objectives. You use your successful upline. Run it by them. Wisdom is priceless. They have been there, done that, and got the t-shirt. So therefore, it would almost be, madness not to consult with them, to get the clarity that this is what I thought would be my core objective. What do you think? Okay. C, commit to planning. You've got to plan it out on paper so that you and your sponsor can see it like a goal board. We can speak to people now in our team and say, what's your 135? Okay, and they can turn around and just rattle it off just like that. Some more than others, but it's a great way to get focused, to get energized, okay? Have your 135 there. See it every day, just like you would with a goal board. Have it in your face, okay? Right at the front of your thinking, okay? As opposed to like out of sight, out of mind. C, again, consistent action is required, okay? Stop-start doesn't work. Do it whether you feel like it or not, okay? Do you know how long I've been working on a 6-pack? Okay, do you think it's working? No. Okay, is that because I'm not perhaps as committed? It's not because I haven't really sat down and done my 135? Yeah, you're dead right, I haven't. So if it's really, really important to you, you've got to put it into place, okay? You've got to get it down on paper, and you've got to be consistent with your actions. E, expect to be challenged. Expect to be challenged. If you recognize 3 core objectives, the areas of perhaps weakness or that needs to be improved. You can't expect to be perfect just because you identify what they are. So in which case, okay, expect to be challenged. It will feel a little bit uncomfortable, okay? But be challenged, but don't accept it. Don't allow it to make you down tools. Don't allow it to derail you and take you off track, okay? Remember, we choose to be successful, okay? We choose to be successful. You know, it's all about choice, not chance, okay? And S, stick to the plan no matter what, okay? Don't lose momentum. Remember that water pump Craig White talked about a few years ago at the conference, okay? Pumping, pumping, pumping. It takes a little while for it to get it to come through the pipes and work its way to the top. Okay, then it's easier once you're in momentum to maintain. Okay, but if you suddenly stop, drops all the way back down again, and that's then required for you to do maximum amount of effort just to get back to where you were before. Guys, honestly, stick to the plan no matter what. Don't lose momentum, because sometimes when we lose momentum and we feel we're back to where we started from, it's almost like, oh, and when you lose heart, you lose absolutely everything, okay? And finally, the last S, success will follow. Success will follow, guys, okay? Your life will never be the same again, because you can apply the 135 into absolutely any area of your life. You have an opportunity now to choose not to be like the 54% of people who quit on a plan and aspiration within that first 6 months. You have to have some tenacity. You have to have a clarity of purpose. You have to have a driving sense of purpose inside, and identifying that one, getting those core objectives in place and working on those 5 calls to action is going to absolutely make your 2013 so impressive that you look back and wish that you had done it years ago. So yeah, that's it from me. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I wish you all the success.